Good evening, everybody. Well, not everybody. Good evening, people who have attended the chat. How's that? And for the people who are lurking. Okay, we got a... pretty sure it's a 2141 or an A19... oh, it's a 1990. Okay, I haven't got a specific fault on this one, but I'm fairly sure it's going to be... probably not working. Interesting, the front row of screws... Okay, first thing we've got here is a battery has puffed up. Because those screws were difficult to get out, and that's because... I don't know if you can see this, but... Hello, I am a very puffed up MacBook. I have been eating too many battery cycles, and now I am blowing up. Yes. Hopefully it doesn't go up in flames. Okay, this one's actually quite difficult. There we go. No, Jason, this one's not one of yours. This is another priority job. It's data recovery. Anyway, battery aside, we're going to take the board out because A1990s, along with their cousins A2141, are notorious for having solid-state drive damage. Luckily here, immediately, there's nothing obvious there, but as we know, it's usually on the other side. So yeah, we just take it apart. Don't try power it on. Okay, I know a lot of people complain to me, or I get messages saying you really should show people what's wrong with the laptop before you disassemble it so people can have a complete understanding of what you're doing. And it's like, I'm not going to do that and risk the customer's data. I'm sorry. I will describe to you what's wrong, or what I believe is wrong, and then we will proceed from there. And if it is safe to do so, I will show what's wrong on a board. Which usually means if it's liquid damage, I won't. But if it's, say, like a 1466 that's not charging or something like that, then yeah, that's fine. But for these sort of machines, 2141, 1990s, maybe even 820, 850 boards, I will not do that. Ventriculus Book of Max was a new one. Got to try something different, eh? Got to try something different. Okay. Anyway, we get this board out. I'm going to say there's probably corrosion on the other side here with that cap. I never remember the cap number, but we all know the one we're talking about. I think it's C9081 or something like that. One of those. And the question is going to be, has it eaten its way through the board to the point where I can't recover this, or is it going to be recoverable? The sad thing is that if it is recoverable because it hasn't progressed too far, then it looks like a really easy, quick, simple fix. And I suppose it is, but some people sometimes go, that didn't take you very long to do that. Kind of feels like you're ripping me off by charging me $300+ for that job. I thought, well, that's kind of true if you're going by the hour, but we do charge by the task. So you want the data back, that's what it costs. Sometimes it's lucky, sometimes it's not. Most people understand, but some people get a bit perplexed. Hey, Mr. Stamps, Miles, Daniel, everyone else that I'm missing. Yes, Daniel, a good night's sleep is quite the rarity. Even if you yourself manage to get to bed at a reasonable hour and actually fall to sleep, it seems like the universe realizes that you're getting away with that, and it sends forth something like maybe a lightning storm or a scammer calling you at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was going to say 2:30, but it's like, hey, wait a second, I'm awake at that time. The universe certainly doesn't care to let you have your good sleep. And of course, it's infinitely harder if you have any dependents. For some people, that's human children. For others, like myself, it's fur kids. And the worst thing is, the more you have, the more likely, of course, statistically, that you're not going to get a good night's sleep. Because it only takes one to be in a bit of a mood. One of them to sort of go, oh, I'm hungry, I want something, it's 4:30 in the morning, you've just fallen asleep. It's a perfect time for me to wake you up now. I'm hungry. A Tookie, 98. Okay. I'll take these little strips off because I will put them back on, but they do tend to make it difficult to move the board around. And yeah, so we've got a nice big clustering of dust here and a pretty good clustering of dust there. Looks like this has got, yeah, this has got nans on both sides, so we actually have to, we've got 2 sets of E-regs to watch out for. A Mugi. So the problem is you go to bed early and the wife won't let you sleep. Is that really a problem, or is that a something advantageous? I suppose the context of the scenario will matter will matter quite a bit in this situation. Okay. Let's see, I'll read in a second what Miles just said. It's probably going to be something I can empathise with. What's this? Don't get me started about whinging customers. Had one today whinging we charged him $400 fixing his no power pavilion despite quoting him that and him agreeing. That's the other thing, they always agree. And calling literally hourly after yeah, they are very painful. Even without my glasses, I can see that cap's corroded. It's got a really nice, bright lime green finish to it. Let's bring the microscope in. Let's see. Oh, it actually switches tonight. Yeah, I'm really not a fan of the ones that keep calling or keep messaging you. It's like I'm really not deliberately delaying contacting you, but you are intentionally making it slower for me to get back to you. Now that's actually cracked as well, so not only is it corroded, it actually went all out and cracked. You can see a nice big flake coming off there. Your daughter needed for an assignment. Yeah. It's a nice 1 ohm short. I do like the idea of, although it doesn't specifically apply to this situation, I suppose, but your lack of planning does not, what do you call it? There's not something about, basically, it's not my fault that you're in a rush situation. I'll do the best I can for you, but yeah, I'm not going to drop everything because there's often multiple people or multiple things that you're dealing with. You know, the person doesn't know. You might have a personal crisis going on. Okay, we're just going to get this off. We're going to use the dry removal. Why is this taking so long? Hey B-Blood. Oh, Yamara's here. How you going there, Yamara? What are you up to? Other than watching my stream. I haven't seen you for a while. I hope you've been okay. And Creature's here, and the stream has now gone to hell. Good on you, Creature. Why'd you have to turn up? Yes, we all do get those customers. And, I can sort of empathize with them a bit. I understand pressure's on them. But they also have to understand that it's not like we are sitting around like firemen. Firemen are going to get upset with me now, but we're not just sitting around waiting for that emergency call. It's a case of we're usually running at a pretty full queue, and we will definitely fit you in when we can, because we understand the situation, but we also can't make miracles happen. Alright, my concern here, even though we fixed up that corroder cap, I'm concerned that this side here is going to run into issues very shortly. There is junk developing underneath that V-Reg. I might try a bit of blowing out, and you can see the inductor is actually quite badly corroded. So that could be a bit of a hidden risk, that one. Now I've got to weigh up whether it's worth messing around with this, or whether, because this is for a data recovery scenario, or whether this will actually be okay. We'll just go ahead with the data recovery and then decommission it. Just going to use some compressed air on it. Creature, your single NAS, what? Single disk NAS got clicker. Oh no. That looks alright there, and the inductor certainly gives me some pause for thought. I hate fiber pens. I'm sorry, I'm going to say that right now. I hate fiber pens. Those little bastards leave so many pieces of glass shrapnel around. It's terrifying. 423. That rail is showing the right sort of resistance, so I'm happy with that. We'll stick a replacement cap on here. There's no corrosion into the board. They do have their uses, I agree, but I just really don't like using them. I've got a few. I've got some, I've got a little 2mm one, I've got a 4mm one, so I think this is my, yeah, okay, but yeah, that's just downright gnarly. Not only because of the fact that I haven't really bothered to clean it, but you can just see how that can completely wreck your life. Smash that in your eyeball a few times, yep. And, oh, that's a coincidence, scratch your eyes out. I much prefer, if I can, to just use one of those, like, eraser blocks. These sort of things. Yeah, they're just sort of like, got grit in them and you can carve away. They do have their own degree of mess, but not to the unpleasantry of fiber pens. Use a laser to clean it. That is a good idea, yep. Okay, so we pretty much got to that cap early enough because there's no real corrosion on those pads. I mean, there's a itty bitty little bit, but nothing significant. I gotta sneeze. Apologies. Yeah, keep the fiberglass pens for when you're going to have your John Wick moments and you need something truly obnoxious to terminate somebody's life or leave them in a perpetual state of agony. That's when you use your fiberglass pen. Yeah, I see John Wick 4's out. It's got to be wearing down a bit now. I mean, it's a fun series, but it's got to be getting a bit worn. Okay, so what have we got here? I think we've got a 1041 board. 1041? Oh, it's an 1827. Alright. Same difference. It's I was right, it's a 9081 and it's a 10 microfarad 25 volt. Hey there, Arilla and Gabrielle. What was it? 10 microfarad 25 volt 603, right. Exactly the one I have in my hand right now. By the way, the machine, the Pentium 4 from last night, that's gone back to its owner. We did finish the migration to the solid state drive and everything went very nice. So I'm quite happy about that. Just trying to use the least amount of flux that I need to. Going all Jason Vilma style. Oh, thank you, Arilla. Yeah, the little... it's going to be very hard to say goodbye to those little fellows, and girls rather. It's 3 girls, 2 boys as far as we know. That is the cruel part of when you're doing animal rescue, is, you know, the fact that you have to, it's, you know, you have to sort of find homes for them and it's not going to be your home. Alright, so that's back on. Let's check the resistance on that rail. Hey there, Jim. Okay, so the resistance is good. That's the PP bus rail, so it's not as critical. This one here is the one that matters, and that's 400 plus, so that's good. So this thing should boot now. Miles, it was a machine for a vinyl cutting setup, and I had a dongle with it and all that sort of thing, so basically you can't really change the hardware around much. I'll be very happy, well, I was very happy it booted and ran with the new solid state drive in it, even though it was a BX, not an MX, but the whole thing was only using about 17 gigs of disk space. I was running XP. So I don't anticipate that solid state drive wearing out anytime soon. I'm just checking over the board to see if there's anything else that I've missed. What's wrong, creature? Big cap, middle of board, what? Lots of big caps, middle of the board. You're talking about the slight loss of paint there? There are a few that sort of get that appearance, but it's okay. Not to mention it could be the reflections from the lighting and the cameras. Like I said, I do have the advantage of the stereoscopic vision here through the microscope that you guys are stuck with mono vision. And of course, the coloration is much better, and not to mention the resolution. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, we got our 20 volts. We got our crazy ramp. That's looking good. Okay, we'll plug that back into the chassis and it should be okay. Of course, the greater problem here is the fact that the airbags are deployed. This is actually going to be an issue with shipping. I cannot ship this in that state. Hey there, tradie. I mean, I can ship this, but I'll have to declare it. So more than likely, we'll have to take the battery out, let them refit a new one at the destination, and then go from there. But I will clean out the craft. I mean, the battery may still be functional, but like I said, we just can't ship it like that. Something like that is just asking, it would be a low grade fire, as it were, if these did catch on fire, because they are basically in a discharge state. So if you rupture these, they're not going to go up like they will if you have a overcharged battery that has expanded. So it's important to know the difference on the expansions. Like if your lithiums have puffed up because they've got a chemistry failure, undercharged, that sort of stuff, or just old, then they're not actually inclined to catch on fire. But if you're dealing with a new pack and you're pumping in way too many volts and too much energy into the pack and it's getting puffy, then time to run. I had 50 lipos go up today in one bin. Oh, I hope you got that on YouTube, because that would have scored you a lot. Yeah, it used to always be a nightmare when I was doing the model aircraft business, and everybody was getting lithium packs, and we had a couple of dud chemistry runs from the suppliers, and so a lot of us were stuck with these packs that would just spontaneously puff up on the shelf in a very alarming way. But fortunately they were still safe, relatively speaking. Most of the fires that you see on YouTube and all that are because of people deliberately mistreating the pack and forcing it beyond its operating limits. Got some packs that lost 10% every life. Yeah, that sounds a little too familiar. I know I lost thousands of dollars on stock because of that, because you couldn't ship them back, and the companies just vanished. And so after that point, I basically stopped carrying lithium packs, other than for the really small ones. The small ones that I used for the gliders. But beyond that, I said, no, go buy your pack somewhere else. Hey, Mr. Tritz. That was cycle testing at 1C. That's sad if you're losing it at 1C. I remember my first lithium packs, they were little 270 milliamp ones. And I think they had a discharge rate of about 0.5 C. They were good packs, but it was always we've come a long way from the days of barely being able to discharge at 2 or 3 C. Thank goodness. Now you get ridiculous figures like, oh yeah, 100 C discharge. It's like, that's just insane. What have we got going on here other than bad connection? I'm an interesting bloke. That could be taken in multiple ways, but I'm gonna take the high road and think you're meaning a good thing. Electrician, just from the body paint. When you say the body paint, is that from like getting into... Okay, so we've got a boot there, so that's good. Getting into ducting that's too tight or anything like that. LiPo-powered handheld welders are a thing now. I did see one of them on, I think it was Banggood. I want to get a one of the cell welders because I want to start making packs. Because I've got yard equipment, 82 volt yard equipment, like a mower and all that sort of thing. And I've got 2 amp hour packs, but I've got another one. But it's very similar. The pack is very similar, but I think what happened is that the manufacturers of the mowers asked for a unique sort of keying on the outer shell. Anyway, so I'll probably just take the guts out of this one and put it into the older packs. But I would like to be able to, get myself a welder for those cells at some point. Rewa have a spot welder, pretty cool. I have been looking around, I haven't seen the Kian Li one. But they do seem pretty cheap, under $200. The biggest thing seems to be more the freight to get them to. Alright, so this is, what have we got? 3 amps charging, 19 volts, we're alive. There's not much point trying to charge this thing, so I'm going to shut it down. Disconnect it. We'll list it as functional, repaired, working, but yeah, we're going to have to do something about that pack. And we'll unscrew this. Okay. Just green mark it to let me know I have fixed it. Right. That was probably one of the simplest fixes I've seen this week. And of course it is going to be one of those bait-like fixes where people go, look, it's so easy, I can do that. And it's like, yes, you absolutely can do that. But the trouble is when it's not. Yeah, there's so many subtle aspects that you have to check out first before you can go ahead and decide that it is going to be that easy fix. Like, you got to be able to ascertain whether are those V-regs are in danger. Is there an issue with the resistance levels on those lines, all that kind of stuff. So if that's all clear, and if it is just that one thing, then yeah, anyone can do that fix. I won't argue against that. Okay, what have we got here? Oh god, some liquid corrosion. Right, I'm really not much of a liquid corrosion person lately. Hey, wrong way. It's okay, creature. I don't think I ever thumbs up anybody's channel. I don't think I've ever thumbs up a Lewis Rossman live stream or channel. That's okay. And I have my dedicated crew of people who will thumbs down everything. They work very hard. They spend all their lives waiting for the video to pop up so they can race in and thumbs it down. Lets me know I'm loved. And this is a 21, isn't it? Yep, 2179. Okay. About a 90% chance this is dead already. Which is going to suck because, you know, we did have that. We had the A1708 die last night too. So this is probably where the universe will return to balance. I can see the liquid damage mark. Oh, there. Okay. Can you see that darkening there? So the audio board has really taken a hit. And somehow, I don't know if it's going to be fixable like and the battery's taken a hit too. Wow. Okay, that's new. Yeah, we've got corrosion on the battery. Alright, I'm going to push that up to about 95% now. There's a fly flying around in here. Incredibly offensive. Yeah, well, these 2179s just turning up in the workshop is a bad start. But then having liquid damage, it's like, well, I'm sorry, but we're going to start reading your last rites already. The interconnect connector is damaged, so it's a bad start as well. Touch ID button's okay. Interesting. Could be 1534, you know, they're not that far off the 1534s. 1534, 1932, 2170, what the hell are these again? 79. They're all in my bad books. Episode of Breaking Bad. I'm not cooking meth here. Redback took a live snake yesterday. It does happen occasionally. They're opportunistic, so yeah. What snake was it? You often see baby eastern browns getting caught in redback webs. When I say often, I mean like once or twice a year. There is a quirk on this board. Or maybe it's just grit. Some kind of grit that's on top of the T2 cover. Was this more foreboding noises? Think it was a brown? Yeah. I don't know why, but most of the time when you see a photo of a spider that's caught a snake and it's a redback, it tends to be a little baby brown. Come on. But yeah, I'd say very strong likelihood that this is a dead-end board, but we've still got to go through the process and declare it if we have to take that. I'm kind of worried about what's on the other side of the board. I mean, if we were lucky, it would have just been the daughter board. Amazingly, it's actually nice and clean on there. Yeah, so we've only got some corrosion up at the battery end, but it's clean otherwise. So we may hopeful feelings building. Oh yeah, that corrosion got right into the battery connector. Yuck. So it may have upset the SMC portion of the T2. It has done corrosion onto the communication lines, so that's annoying. But hopefully not too bad. We'll test the diode modes on the back here and see what they come up at. So we'll pull up the... This will be in 1958 or something. Quad display. So yeah, this is what we're looking for. So red to ground. First two are ground, so it doesn't matter. So what have we got here? 4.9, that's close enough to 5.6. 6.7. 6.7. Okay, what mattered the most here is that these two are the same, because they're the clock and data lines. This here is the presence line, detect line. And then, let's see, 1.3 or so for this. Yeah, okay. So even though there's corrosion on that connector, it all looks okay. That is not a crack through the chip, it just looks like it. Just trying to think how I'm going to clear this out. I don't want to put too much liquid down there. I might dry brush, see what I can get out with dry brush. Yeah, it's gone in pretty deep under there. Try some compressed air. Give me a chance to suck in those copper oxides. Yeah, it's done a pretty good job, really. A bit of dry brushing and hit with the compressed air. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. It's workable. Acetone can go to hell. How dare you suggest acetone around here? Everybody knows I don't do acetone. I had my fun with acetone once and never again. Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to boot. I'm just going to get my own 2179 chassis. Once I can find it. 2179, good job. Yeah. This way I can eliminate Miles, acetone and Arduino. So many A words in this chat being said by a-holes. What are you... That damn fly. I'm going to have to kill that fly sooner or later. It's starting to irritate me. I mean, don't get me wrong, we get... Flies are just a normal thing around here. The only way you don't get flies in your house around here is by living in a very environmentally sealed house. Otherwise, flies are a normal thing. But you certainly do your best to try and get rid of them. And we do have fly traps, and you kill hundreds of thousands of flies every year. It doesn't seem to do much. Yeah, I know it's not technically the correct connector there, but from a functional perspective, they're the same. Right. Do I want to put the battery in? You know you do, Paul. Okay. Okay. Go. That's in. Put our privacy protector on. Find our connector. $20 volts. Currents are looking good. Yeah, I think we're going to win here. Alright, so what have we got? Okay, we've got startup problem issues, that's fine. Huntsman's, well, we've got plenty of huntsmans, I've got to tell you that much. At any given time, there's at least 3 or 4 in the house. And there's a good number of wolf spiders as well, but wolf spiders tend to run around on the floor and, you know, things like that. They sort of tend to, that's their domain. And the huntsmen stay up on the roof spaces as much as they can. Alright, looks like we're alive, so yeah, this is going to be a... Shut that down. We're going to have to inspect this daughter board. And we're going to see if we can fix this daughter board, because these are incredibly expensive now. But at least we know that the logic board is good. So now we can focus on the daughter board. Oh yeah, B-Blood, actually, sorry, I didn't get around to replying to that. Yes, I saw that a couple of days beforehand, the discovery. I'm on a spider... What the hell? Okay, we've got a cap that has actually been knocked off here. That's kind of curious. I know I didn't knock that off, so it is being knocked off in kind of that direction. Yeah, interesting. Wonder what happened there. Yeah, I'm on a spider group for North Queensland area and stuff like that. So yeah, we get to see a lot of these new and interesting discoveries coming up. It's great. I really do. Yeah, it's amazing that there are so many things that we still find. It's hard to say whether this has gone too far or not. I think the connector should still just be viable. It's got 2 pins there that have been... These 2 pins here, they have probably eaten their way off the board. Yeah, they have. I don't know if there's anything else that I might have around here that has this connector. It looks familiar, but yeah, maybe something like an iPhone 8 connector or something like that. But yeah, these caps, I'd say what they tried to do was maybe they found a shorter cap and they knocked it off. What? That Dave Jones saying that? Yeah, we're definitely going to need to replace this end too. Yeah, this is a problem because I actually just don't know. Let me bring out my iPhone boards and stuff like that and see if I've got anything that's similar. I think the biggest sticking point with this is the fact that it's got two not grounding straps, but it's got two full width straps either end of it, which most of the iPhone stuff doesn't tend to have. So this may end up being a case of replace the daughter board, replace the flex, which is not really how I want that to go. It doesn't look that bad, no, but so like as you can see, so I think this is a 6. Like you can find connectors and they've got similar widths and stuff like that, but they just don't have that double strap. Let's check some other boards. A lot of my stuff's a little bit too old. Same thing. What about my poor beaten up old iPhone 7? Yeah, same thing. Come on, get that fingernail under there. Ugh, knee man. There we go. Yep, same thing. And I think I put a new battery in this thing not too long ago either. No. Bugger. This one's got a NAND failure, so there's not much I can do about it. Yeah, Creature, good luck finding new ones. I mean, I can probably get them, but the trouble is they're not even spec'd. Like, we don't have a schematic or anything like that, I don't think, for them. I do have a board view for these, the 1992. Unfortunately, we don't have any information on it. So it's kind of like, well, that's useful, but yeah. Let's see what we can do about refurbishing. Or at least get it to the point where it's not going to kill the machine. That's the whole thing. Like, if we can get it to the point where it's not going to shut the machine down, then we can probably get away with that. But yeah, I'm kind of curious about this. Could be that. Oh, that's meant to be like that, damn it. Yeah. It's an inductor. It meant to do that. Yeah, you gotta wonder whether there's trash under that. That's that speaker amp chip. That fly is back. Oh, come on, come here. Come here. I dare you to land on me again. The low-life bastard. I know. We need him though for pollination reasons, but that's about it. And decomposition, yeah. If we didn't have flies, we'd have a lot of unpleasant corpses lying around. So yes, they certainly have their uses, but it'd be nice if they just stopped harassing me. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is try and deal with those pins. I will use some 80-20, flat it. Why? Okay. Bee blood, that's they're making it a bit of a nuisance. They're making it difficult for me to maintain that good behavior. Okay, so you can see there that that pin is just free floating, so is that one. No surprises there. I fully expected that. Getting the pads to shine up is not a big problem. Getting the pins to actually take some solder, that's where the fun is. So you try to lop them from the top, and then you sort of hope that the mixture of the flux and heat and solder will help you out on the underside. Oh, shiny. Hey there, McDermott, David, Mr. Glick. Oops, oh God. Lewis Rossman has been here. I'm holding it on there a bit longer than what you'd normally would because I'm trying to get the flux and everything to bite in to more than just the surface contact that I've managed to achieve. So I mean, I'm happy with that now. I've got to admit, I'm actually quite surprised that came up much better than I anticipated. I was expecting to have a real fight on my hands. But yeah, it's certainly not perfect because I know the undersides of those will have very limited amount of solder biting into them. Oh, it's far from being fixed, absolutely. This whole situation here, I'm really not sure what to do about it. Honestly, it feels like someone's definitely been here because you can see they've scratched away. But I kind of wonder at what point did they... I don't know. I'm probably making up crap in my head. Wouldn't be the first time. I mean, they're just test points. Yeah, that's a very distinct someone knocked me off type of look. That's a ground pad, so I don't know what that is. What we can try and do is we can put our probe on that and then run through these pins and see if any of them, show up. The nice thing is we actually do know the network names for these. Tradie, it's not too bad when it comes to where, the burning thing, as long as you use the appropriate level of, what do you call it, soldering tip. Like those little micro pencil tips, they take a lot of work to get them to burn through something. Ah, god damn it. Nothing there. Oh, actually, I just realised the board view should tell me anyway. Let's see, what was that? It was the middle one, the L83 VP. Oh, that's totally useful. It's something to do with that chip there, which is not that's the speaker amp. This one here is more of an audio controller or something. Thank you, Joseph. Creature, let's see, how many pins has it got? 48 pins, but that includes, they're more logical pin counts as opposed to physical pin counts. But yeah, 48. Well, how many have we got along here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 16, 20, 22, so 44 actual pins. Yeah, 44 plus tabs. I mean, I could speculate what a lot of these are. I do have another board. I could always try and measure the capacitance. Of course, then you don't know what the actual voltage is, but you can at least know what the capacitance is and then work back from that. The other thing we have to fix up, of course, is the flex itself. We're going to take this one to the bench. Switch over to microscope. Yeah, I think I'll give this an 80-20 wash as well. Just try and minimize the amount of crap I have to fight with through the flux. As I said, flux is very good at eliminating corrosion if used correctly. Particularly if you've got the beautiful plumber's flux. We lost a trace there. That trace has all but disappeared. Yeah, there's nothing left of that. So that pretty much, yeah. Oh boy. What is this? I'm trying to work out what pin that was. It's the second pin. That's PP3V3. The upside though is that the next pin is also PP3V3, but it's probably also just about gone. High Rose BK 1030 position. It's not the same one though, I don't think. Because it doesn't have the double strap. Oh right, yeah, you are actually saying. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's all gone there too. So absolutely no power getting to this daughter board. So even though we managed to fix up the daughter board a little bit, the connector, the actual cable is kind of, holy crap at that. Ah damn. That new phone keeps me on my feet. Yep, insulin time. There we go. Gotta be careful here, we might end up ripping up more copper than what we have available. I think I've exposed ground down here, so I'm gonna have to... the copper just keeps disappearing. It's almost like it was never there. It might have been a case of that trace sort of... I don't know what it was doing, but anyway. I would say realistically at this point, it's not a good idea for me to repair this. Better just to get another replacement flex. Yeah, some damage. Because like I could fix that up, and I might not fix it up properly. I might bridge something that I'm not supposed to, and that truly would destroy the laptop. So for a $20 flex, I'm not really willing to risk that. Risk it. Yeah, I'm not really willing to do that. I will work on this, but not on that. Okay, I've got to go give Micros insulin, and I'll be back. Yeah, no risk taken. New phone or new to me phone, Jim. Yeah, it's an old iPhone 11 that I did data recovery on. It was a liquid damage one, and I managed to, after a while, get it to work properly. Pardon me, but yeah, it's not one that I would never sell it to someone. But as my personal replacement for the iPhone 7 Plus that died, it does the job. Right, gotta go give Micros insulin. Change the gloves. Alright. Oh, by the way, it's a good thing I went upstairs. I found this that Jason, unofficial Jason, has sent me. I'm kind of curious to see if it ends up being the right orientation, the correct orientation for the purpose of which it was sent. Let's find out. Let's grab the never use it oscilloscope, or DSO rather, not really an oscilloscope. Was it 430 Japanese yen? Yeah, it was expensive, bastard. Sadly not, Jason. Looks like we want one that goes out that way towards the smaller edge. I mean, I could trim off this, but I don't think that would be a good idea. This will still come in very handy though, because I need one of these for my ultrasonic cleaner, because the ultrasonic cleaner, it currently pushes up against the wall behind me. You can see it just there. That way? Yep, that way. And so having one of these in there will actually help that. But for the scope, I'm going to have to slightly different orientation, like 90 degrees anti-clockwise would have done it. So close. Yeah, normal IEC lead will work. It is a normal IEC lead. It's just that I want it so that I can lay the DSO on its back. And I can't do that with a normal IEC because it protrudes too far beyond... it just protrudes out too far, so I can't lay it flat. Which means none of you get to see the DSO in action a lot of the time because it's too much of a nuisance. Yeah, I can get them from Newark Element 14, I believe. But, like I said, this still will be useful for the ultrasonic cleaner. Unfortunately, Jason doesn't seem to be around. Okay. Anyway, with this machine, yeah, I think the logic board's fine, but the daughter board needs fixing up. I'll see what my options are. It might just be cheaper in this particular situation to get a replacement. I could use the one that I have, but I don't want to do that. I don't like to use my known working gear for obvious reasons. Because once you use your known working gear, you no longer have a known working solution. Yeah, we're lucky that the corrosion around the power connector wasn't too bad. It was something that we were able to manage. There may still be problems with the Touch ID button, but we'll see. But at this point, it's a case of I'm going to have to order parts for it. Actually, come to think of it though, I believe Mr. Scamo, yeah, Mr. Pedro Scamo, I think he sent me it. I bought a 2179 off him. Of course, when I open it up, I'm probably going to find out that he's actually replaced the 2179 aspect with a freaking 1534. It's exactly the sort of thing I would expect from scum like him. Damn rebel scum. So have a look. Damn it, I need more room in my workshop, for frick's sake. Let's see, Pedro 2179. Yeah, this is going to be rebel scum material. What you gonna do, Pedro? Are you gonna come up to me? You better watch your mouth, mister. Oh, please, Pedro. You know you love it. You get off on it. Actually, that kind of makes me a bit sick in the mouth thinking about that. Pedro drives around Canberra most days and nights, and he picks off innocent ladies, runs them down, steals their Macbooks, and then he has the audacity to actually gloat about it to me. So I don't want to hear this. Sicko. Send me the gear. Okay, what's wrong with this one, Pedro? Do you remember? Was this just a iCloud block or something else? Because I can't remember now. Because it looks pretty good, actually. I'm getting a feeling this is an iCloud lock. It's booting, I think. Oh no, it's not. It's cycling around like a... Yeah, okay, no, it's cycling all over the place. That's... Holy shit. Chocolate pudding's on the menu, folks. Oh, it's got a... like a... What the hell? What did you send me? I don't want to butcher this board now. Yeah, you really do want to end up with truffles and not McDonald's soft serve after the power's gone out. You never sent this to me. Why has it got your name all over it then? Look at it. So, or maybe it's wrong. Ooh. Yeah, maybe it is. Job 1520. Okay, now I've got to find out whose job this really is. That's going to be a laugh. 1520. No, that's just the board code. Okay, yeah, you're right. I don't know why your name is on this, Pedro. In fact, I don't understand what's going on here, actually. Pepsi is in... This is listed as a Pepsi in the keyboard, running slow. I looked at it at the end of November. Logic board looks fine. SSD drive missing from boot options. I might have accidentally thought this is a 1534 when I grabbed it and then just wrote your name on it. Why hasn't this guy... I know who this is. I know who... But why haven't they gotten back to me about this? Pepsi, not Pedro. Yeah, well, you wouldn't want Pedro in the keyboard, would you? Disturbing images. Intrusive images. SSD drive missing from boot options. Yeah, okay, I'm definitely not doctoring this one. Does that mean I've got a third one then? I'm definitely not cannibalizing this one. Okay. A1990, 2159. That's got to be 50 times more interesting than an accountant. 1989, Sad Little Lives. 3332, another 1990. That's my secondary tester. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm genuinely confused here because under normal circumstances, a board like that, a machine like that, would never get into my box of known good working things. Another 1708, but that's nothing. They're useless these days. Yeah, I'm gonna have to backtrack and find out what the hell's going on with that, because that's definitely not right. Welcome to why when stuff turns up here, it almost never leaves. This is basically like Hotel California for MacBooks. They can check in, but they never get to leave. 1534. This looks like a Pedro one. Oh no, not this one. No, I think the Pedro one's actually out in another workshop. Anyway, irrelevant. We're obviously not going to do anything to this one, and I've got to find out. Oh, I see, it's actually got Pedro question mark on it. That's interesting. I don't like the fact that I wrote on it. You sure I never bought one from you? I know I bought something off you, didn't I, recently? I swear I did. Anyway, this board is fine, this one, so it's definitely not going to be accidentally falling into my clutches. 1703. And I will just look at getting a new pair of those. Right. Scary stuff. Alright, let's see. Now, there's one here I've got to sort out for Jason. Not two, actually, but let's see. 21. That's Carl. Okay, we're going to do the Carl one first, Jason, because it's a 2141. So it's either going to be fixed or not. Hey, Fix It Pro, Christos. I swear that you sent me something else. I know the 1534, that one I'm aware of, but I could have sworn I bought a 2179 off you at some point. Probably not. Probably got Alzheimer's. Has Jason run off, has he? He's probably got more important things in life to do than stick around listening to my incoherent rants. This is I can watch Lewis Rossman if I want to listen to that sort of stuff. Alright, no personal details about Carl there, so that's good. Other than the fact that it's Carl. Look how much crap just came up from that previous couple of laptops. Kind of scary. If you got craft, how are you supposed to remember that you got craft? And the fly flew in my face. So just, it's all about insults and injury tonight. Yeah, Jason, Aramax is definitely getting slower. It doesn't help that the local person who does the Aramax and Sendle and Fastways, they either need more stuff, they need something, because they don't pick up packages anymore. Apparently they're not getting the messages to pick up, but yeah, they even still, I'm finding most times I have to send the packages over to them. Yeah, I'm fine with that if that was the service, but I think overall, and this is probably true of most couriers, they are simply overrun. If there's one thing that COVID definitely did, it sort of solidified the fact that we as a society now, while we don't care about letter post anymore, we are highly dependent on having couriers now. So package delivery is most certainly a significant industry. Packages sat for days in Townsville. That's interesting. I think what happens is you get these startups like, I mean, okay, Aramax is no longer a startup, but you get startups, and because they come in at a lower price point, they do get a lot of business very quickly, but the trouble is they never seem to ramp up fast enough. It's always a reactive situation, and consequently you very quickly find that the package delivery times drop like a rock, and then lo and behold, a few months later their prices go up because due to increased demand we've had to expand, and due to expansion we've had to invest more money into this, so therefore now package delivery is going to cost as much as everybody else, and then for several months, a year, they're going to be slower than everyone else but still the same price. So that's the typical sort of sequence of events when it comes to that sort of business. Basically they become, I wouldn't say victims, but basically it's a consequence of popularity. Express Post isn't too bad here. Star Trek used to be beautifully overnight. Toll used to be beautifully overnight. And it's just all gone to hell. Trying to jam a T5 into a T4, that's just not going to happen. Did I say this is an A20 1700 board? Anyway, that's what it is. So this is like the big brother, older cousin, whatever, even though it's newer, to the 1990, but it suffers a similar sort of fate. Not always the same, but similar. However, I do find that the 1700s are less durable than the 1990s for whatever reason. They're also considerably more annoying to take the boards out, as well as putting them back in. But if you know the tape trick for putting them back in, then it's all good and fine. If you don't know the tape trick, then you're going to spend a bit too much time juggling cables like an untrained juggler, and inevitably you will snare one or two under the board without realizing, ship it back to your customer, who will then chew you out for the fact that the board doesn't work properly. I got a cough. Right, 2 coughs, that's all you get. No more. You can't sort your cough out in 2 coughs, that's it, you're out of the room. Bzz, leave. More than that and it's offensive. Okay, T8. Nicely said there, Jim. Okay. And of course be careful taking the 1700s out. Yeah, there's a lot of things that can get snagged or that you can forget about. I'm sure I've forgotten about 1 or 2 things here already. Like even just getting these cables down past the circuit board. Now if you lift up with a little bit too much aggression, you will snare them and tear them. Hey, snare and tear. Sounds bad. There we go. Okay, straight away there's a little bit of corrosion over here, bit of dust. Not too bad over here. Yeah, it could be a CD3215 issue, as Jason just said. Say, Warren. A cap with 3215, a cap near the NAND. Okay, which NANDs? Given that we've got a couple on this one. Whoop, squeaky board. So this VREG section looks really healthy, so that's thumbs up for that. Jason, what do you mean you weren't willing to risk it? There's a little bit of corrosion on that cap there on the corner. I'm not sure it's enough. The spotting on there is a bit of a concern. These are 3217s, of course, now I remember that. Okay, can't see anything dreadfully obvious there, so now we have to dig around. Okay, find that bit of dust that we saw before. Tradie, I think sometimes it's always nice to look at what other people are doing or imagine yourself getting to do what other people are doing. In most cases, there are obviously some situations which we all go, no thanks. Yeah. It takes a special kind of person to do some kind of jobs. I think we romanticize the purity of another career sometimes, because we're not subjected to the realities of it. And obviously people doing that career, here we go. Okay, we've got a problem here. This is probably a dead, hate to say it, Jason, but this could well be dead. Okay, the reason I'm saying that is because you'll notice there is a discoloration on that corner there of the VREG, and that's not what you want to see. But we will give it a shot, because what else are we going to do? Yeah. You can start and fix EV cars. Yeah, that's something I wouldn't mind looking at. But yeah, that discoloration there is quite concerning, which means something's gotten underneath that VREG. That's really not what we want. Now, if we're lucky, that's PP bus side, but I have a feeling that's actually 2v5. And yeah, we've got all this surface corrosion going on here. But yeah, that there is probably the problem. Let's check to see what the resistance is. I would like to do more in EV cars, but I'm obviously not... shit. Okay, the one upside is that it's a 0.6 ohm short. If it was 6 or 7 ohms, that would be even greater concern. But 0.6 means it's likely shorted in here. So if we're lucky, we take this off, the short goes away, we get back to 600 ohms or so, and we may have a chance. PP bus is looking good. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Like I would really like to be working on EVs a bit more. There's an EV I've been wishing they would get it into production, and that is the Aptera. I don't know how people want to pronounce that, but it enrages me now whenever I see them posting like, look, we've got someone put a down order of 100 of them or whatever. It's like, you bastards have been at this for 20 years and you still do not have even a baseline product out there, and you've had plenty of money thrown at you. Honestly, they're becoming as bad as Muller's flying car. I think the problem with Aptera is that it's a company that was started by engineers, which is great, but then they never really got someone who really knew how to do marketing or planning for production work or anything like that. So they had these guys with great ideas, and then recently they reformed the company with those engineers. And so, yeah, they're doing some really interesting things, but they're not getting into new production, which means they're just going to chew through the money again, and we're going to be back in the same situation. Because the vehicle itself, I feel, has good potential. I think the reason why I like the EV cars too is because, yeah, with all my work with model aircraft, electrical, like I was converting and using electric model aircraft way back in the late 80s. So it's always been a passion of mine, even when everyone would like mock me for, so why the hell do you want to do that? It's a stupid battery, you can't do anything with it. And back then, absolutely right, it was all pretty awfully weak and things like that, but in time it became good. And now electric model aircraft and things like that, they pretty much dominate the market. But to be fair, I kind of stepped out of that market because I was going broke. I couldn't sustain a living anymore with model aircraft, even though I was doing a lot of designing of both planes and the electronics. It just wasn't enough. China was eating me up for breakfast and spitting me out. I couldn't compete. Alright, Jason, let's hope this is may we hope this is in your favour. Shit. It's not. Okay, 1.2. It's still lower than a typical NAND short, but what I'm worried about now is that we have a board short, as in there will be a short circuit somewhere in the board. Although that cap looks almighty suspicious there. Yeah, I'm worried we've got a board short now. I'll take these off and I'll have a look at the other side. Yes, Joseph, there were EVs available the early 19th century. Sorry, 20th century. Late 19th. But yeah, they were using like lead acid type situations. And they didn't have brushless motors or controllers. So it was a very different sort of electric, as it were. Very different electric. Can't really be compared to the ones we have now in so many different areas. I really don't want to bring out the FLIR just yet. I'm going to take these two caps off and yeah, trying to avoid the FLIR as much as I can at the moment, just for this board. So basically what's happened is that V-Reg did get, that was definitely visual damage there on it. And that would have been because it had a large amount of current that was being demanded through it and it cooked itself. Now it may actually still be functional in some sense, but certainly not trustworthy. Shit. Yeah, this is now starting to feel like a board short, unfortunately. So what I want to do here is look at the points. Could be anywhere. Is that someone emulating Akbar? That's a trap. No, that came out wrong anyway. Yeah, I'm not going to try and do that. Unlikely to be one of these caps. It's not really in their nature to do that for this board. This is going to be fun. And by fun, I'm being sarcastic. In case anyone thought I was being legit. Oh, shite. Well, I don't know why I'm spasming there. There's a little mark under that cap, but I can't work out whether it's just... If I could stop shaking. Oh no, it's consistent on both. Yeah, Trady, having two layer boards is kind of a little more convenient when it comes to these sort of things. I'd like to see a nice big fat crack in something. On the circuit board, obviously, I'm referring to. Thinking I might have to do the dreaded injection. I really do not want to do an injection on these, but if we go 1 volt, 1 amp, it should give us an indication. If it doesn't show up very quickly, then unfortunately it's probably going to be a logic board fault, as in the board itself has the short internal, which is not unusual. It tends to happen around here. Yeah, unfortunately, flare time indeed. Like I said, I really do not like it when it comes to these scenarios. I don't think I've ever found a faulty cap on these boards using the flare for this sort of scenario. Not saying it won't be a first time, but I'm saying prepare yourselves for a bit of a letdown. Yep, that's a really bad soldering job, but it don't matter in this scenario. That's an even worse soldering job, because I kept playing with it too much. Did I see the solder ball? I did not, but more than likely it's just going to be a typical manufacturing solder ball, like it just gets squeezed out. I mean, most things, like, there's, like, there, is that you're referring to? Anything in there? Right, yeah, there's nothing making contact in there. Nothing I can see. Yeah, squeegee, oh, whatever. It's a pretty normal part of the manufacturing process, because the alternative is even worse. And if you're wondering what's the alternative is when you don't put enough solder on these things and you end up with connections that aren't being made, and they are substantially more difficult to locate and rectify. What are we after? Now it is a 2.5 volt circuit, but like I said, I like to stick at 1 and 1. Okay, here we go. 600 milliwatts. Certainly nothing blaring up there, but on the other side of here there does appear to be something warming up. So we might get lucky. Ew, no, I don't like the look of that. Okay, what I'm not liking the look of is that we're getting a bit of a thermal build up around this area here. And that's, to me, says it's a board level short. Yeah, that's not good. So if we go 1.5 volts, still well below the 2.5. And yeah, see what I'm talking about over here? Immediately heating up. So that's board level problem. Double check on the other side. Hey, okay. Anyone in or out? You,
Everyone's out.
everyone?
Out.
Okay. And Loki's not with you? Okay. Alright then. Yeah, so we've got this heat building up all around here. So it's bad, bad, bad sign. Now, you can get the data off these still, but it's hard. What you need to get the data off, and it's going to be particularly hard on this one because it is actually, it has NANDs on both sides. What the hell was that? Sorry, I gotta run. Oh, Loki, are you making that noise? Make that noise? No? You're good? Oh, it's two cute possums. Oh, cute little possums. Hello. Mother and child. So we can get some pictures of possums. Just going to go get a picture of possum and mother, possum and child in the tree. Maybe. Hopefully I won't blind them. What are you whinging about? Hello, you wanna come? You good boy. He's Anyway, yeah, data recovery on this, if you have a working board, you can probably sort that out. The other way is you can start drilling and trying to find out where that short exactly is. Why do I keep hearing noise? I hate it when I can't hear properly. Like, normally Alita is my ears, so when she's up, I can, hear what's going on. Well, she can hear what's going on. But when she's gone to sleep, I'm basically dead in the water, so to speak. Well, a little bit hard to see, but anyway, that's the possums up in the tree. It's not bad for a iPhone 11 nighttime from a far distance. They do not look like opossums from America. So, yeah, they're just cute, cuddly little things. All right. Let's see. Ringtail. Yeah, sorry, ringtail, brushtail possums. Do we have any armadillos? No, we don't. Not that I'm aware of. But yeah, they're brushtail possums. Or they're, I'm pretty sure it's brushtail. Anyway, Jason, yeah, so this is a circuit board issue. So if you have another board, you can get the NANDs, and you have to take the NANDs, the T2, the EEPROMs, got to take them all across to a new board, and then you'll be able to read them. It's obviously non-trivial, but yeah, it's not the first time that the short appears there. I really don't know what to suggest. Have a think about it. And let's see. Let the client know, yeah. Put it this way, if the client wants the data, they're probably going to be, I would say, several thousand, like 3,000 to 5,000 probably. And that's not through me. Like, it's not a service I offer. I don't have the equipment for it. But that is the sort of price I believe you can expect. You can try and take the option of doing a board dig to try alleviate the short, but I'm sort of disinclined to suggest people take that route, particularly with that particular short. That one looks like it's quite deep in the board. So I don't know. I know, there's videos of Tim Herman relieving a short, but that was a slightly different one. So yeah, it's don't have the highest of hopes on that. Ask the customer if they want to sell me the chassis though. Hmm. Alright, next bloody job. This is the thing that gets me with the A2141s, is that so many of them die either from that particular fault, the board short, or a NAND failure, basically to the point where the machine is, for all intents and purposes, useless to the customer. And yet I cannot find myself a machine chassis to actually take and get. So it's like, what the hell's going on? Where are all these dead machines ending up? Arnold, there's the reflections and stuff, but I've seen that pattern before, and it was definitely, oh, that's it, I am definitely hearing stuff out there. who you? Come on, buddy. Come here. There we go. Yeah, time to come inside. Not too close to midnight. You kitty cats start misbehaving.
From there, it was all shaken up. Own room. Jeez.
Well, everybody's in. There's cute possums up in the tree. Took a photo of them, being cute possums as they always are. Yeah. Alright, you're gonna go back in and close up. Everybody's inside now, so wish me would just sit down and being a little butterscotch hag. Okay, Lena. Hey, girl. You okay? Yeah, that wasn't fair, was it? Yeah. Come on. Come on, you. Yeah, let's turn this light out. There you go. You stick it on top of all the freshly washed clothes. Yeah, you can nest in there. Blimey, kids. Alright, so if we get a win on this one, because this is our last one for the night, I've got to go do software development because version 5 of Flexboard View is really starting to annoy me. Like every time I fix one thing, I find other things that I really want to get fixed before I put it out, and mostly because you get the one chance for each release. You get the one big promotional moment, and if it goes wrong, it can leave a very lasting impression. We shan't ever mention things like Windows ME or Vista. So I don't want to squander that opportunity with a dud release. Jason, do you know what the fault is on this one? What the heck? What the hell? There's a very weird patterning on the... You see that? Like a 45-degree offset polka dot pattern. So what are we looking at here? If I had to guess, I'm going to say perhaps a bad CD3217 input, maybe? I don't know. Water spill. Water spill. Ach, nee, man. Where'd the spill come from? Alright, water spill. In we go. We'll get the scooper gear on. At least we've got the right equipment for this one. I was saddened by the fact that I was right about the 1700 board. I was really hoping this would be the night that the infrared would pick up a nice glowing cap somewhere, but no. Instead it was the dreaded glowing logic board. Man, that's a little aggressive on your fingernail, Paul. Love some more programming vids. Well, there is programming vids I can do, even within the proprietary, Flexboard View software itself. There's plenty of sections that I do which are actually open source. Oh yeah, I've got to undo this one because I need to get the heatsink off. Very handy having the right tools. Something that a mechanic knows a lot. It's surprising how easy a lot of things can be if you have the right tool for the task. If you do not have the right tool for the task, it's an absolute nightmare. Like trying to undo circlips without a circlip pliers. You can do it, but geez, it's a pain. Hey there, Rob Brown. Rob, did you get any news from Mr. Rossman yet? Do we have a go-ahead, or is he still occupied chasing mystery lobsters in Maine? Jessica, you've been... Yes, I think we all have in our lives at some point or another been called a tool. Whether right or wrong, amongst, I dare say, many other names. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Yeah, this is why it should be my last job for the night. This is why I also use plastic spudgers. I've been disconnecting all this stuff and it's still connected. This is why I don't use metal tools for this sort of work. Haven't heard anything, damn it. I didn't realise, I had forgotten, Rob, that I actually have already written a version of OBS that has that programming already done, but it's not a proper job. I also took a lot of liberties which I know are not going to be able to be taken with the mainline source code. Like I just went along and populated the things like the component structures, objects, with whatever the hell I wanted. But that's not going to get past the gatekeeper. Video cable. Video cable was what? What? Oh, right. Screen. Do you mean like the display cable? Anyway, I'm going to take it out just now. Oh, so many of these flippin'. These are all backlight flexes for the keyboard. I don't know why Apple chose to do it that way, but they did. No liquid damage apparent there. No liquid damage obvious here. There's actually nothing really showing up here, Jason. we'll have a look at the board and see what we can determine. It was boiling water. Okay. Ah, my damn hair keeps falling in my eyes. I'm at that stage where my hair's long enough to start becoming irritating. Okay, 3217. Bit of weird junk in there. Was it teriyaki style? Looks like it. Using it for kitchen recipes. Okay, well, that's interesting. It's a nice change. I know Elita uses her laptop in the kitchen for that sort of thing. Okay, we have a 1987 board. It's interesting how that almost all the... I'm almost always looking at those numbers upside down. Okay. It's fine. $5 says it's the CD, it's the USB cable. This is way too clean. $5 says it's a USB cable. And if it's not, I don't know anybody, anything. It doesn't want to come out. No, that's pristine as anything. Wow. That being the case, it's probably the Touch ID. Let's see what happens when we plug this in. Do we get 20 volts? Yep, 20 volts. Okay. The current's right too. The board's fine. I'm going to say it's Touch ID. Interesting. How does this integrate? Another daughter board, eh? Yeah, just... oh, it's coming up through here. Yeah. Okay, what's the bet? Just warm it up a little because we don't want to needlessly damage it. Hey, Godfrey Allen. Except I already lost the bet, damn it. So now I owe you... okay, nothing wrong there. Yeah, alright, what I'm going to do is put the logic board back in, but leave this disconnected and see what happens, see if it comes up. Need to get my trusty bare masking tape. Flick everything back. Like I said, these little flippin' keyboard backlight things are a colossal pain in my backside. Alright, so we know the board seems to be functioning. It's not to say it will boot properly, but it looks clean. I mean, okay, I agree it was boiling water, and boiling water you would think, you know, just disappears, but it should still cause corrosion if it does get on electronic components. We're not sticking the, what do you call it, the heatsink rubber shroud on at this point. Too many ins and outs to go yet. and capture that flex potential pull. There. Could also be the trackpad at fault. Yeah, leave that disconnected. It could also be touch bar. Yeah, there's plenty of other things that could be holding this whole system down. I guess fundamentally we want to see if it will come up with that disconnected. If it doesn't, then we're just going to go through and eliminate possibles. Although Jason did mention video, so it's entirely possible it's still booting, but the video output is jacked. It could be the T-Con board on the display, which is this circuit board in here. If I could just get the flippin' keyboard flex in, for some reason it doesn't want to let me today. Yo, bro, what's going on here? Wow, it's embarrassing me. Is it electronic certified masking tape? It's certified by me, yes. So therefore it is certified. Ah, see, this is what I hate. See, you get that wrong and it starts delaminating the tip. And so you got to really bring that back down and try again. But you got to be extra pedantic and careful. There we go. Now it's in properly. All right. Oh, come on, Arnold. Gee, you should be happy to open that email up. The best phishing attempt I had recently was someone used the details of my old crap. I left the goddamn flex under there. A different one. Ah, that's annoying. That's for the fan too. Of an old courier account that I had, whom I don't use anymore after they shafted me a few times. But they had all the details and everything, so I'm now got to take this. Can I get away with this maybe? Yeah, so everything was right about it, except for the fact that they had changed the bank details on the invoice. But other than that, they had my account right. Obviously, what they were invoicing me for was wrong, because I settled up my account with this company about 2.5, 3 years ago. I messaged them and I said, someone's leaked your data. Would you care to tell me how it's happened? I haven't heard back from them. They're probably running around going, oh, shit. Someone's cracked into our systems. You can do middleman intercept on email if you have access to like their DNS or something like that, and you can shove your MX in at a higher priority to the main one. But even still, it's definitely not trivial anyway. Certainly charging. Yeah, we've got an Apple logo. Yeah, we've got a boot. Yeah, Jason, I'd say that is a bad touch button for you. So now I will try and disassemble that touch button and find out. Oh, we've got 0% on the battery. I'll give it a chance to try and charge up. They would do Yahoo in reply. What? Hmm. Ah, Jason, you gotta love when they blame you. Yep. So that's interesting. We've had two computers tonight with dodgy daughterish stuff. Hey there, Serge. Oh, that's the fun part. Yeah, yeah. When they expect you to cover the loss that they caused through their lack of due diligence or whatever. Yep, that's always hilarious. It's like, oh no, I'll kindly take the amount of money that is owing to me. It's not my. I'm not carrying responsibility for your situation. I can be sympathetic, I can be empathetic, I can maybe work something out in the future to perhaps give you a discounted rate on future jobs or whatever, but I am not paying, yeah, I'm not paying for what you haven't done correctly. Lost that customer. Oh well. Did you get your money? Come on, charge. Yeah, you're going to take too long for charging. I mean, you're 3 amps, so you're definitely doing your job, but we're going to shut you down. And we're going to pull out that Touch ID button and we're going to have a look at it. I am thankful for the fact that I spent many years involved with email systems, like laying down the creating the software that a lot of servers now use for filtering and checking and things like that. Got my fingers all through it, and as a consequence, you also get to learn and see what sort of tricks are done. I remember back in the day, God, I sound old saying that. When I was explaining to people what sort of things were happening, this was back in a time when if you told someone that there was spam email, they actually wouldn't understand what spam email was. They're like, well, what's spam mail? So that gives you an idea how far back it was. Unfortunately, the big problem with the email that we use in this day, well, that we've always used, is the fact that it came about from a time and environment where trust was actually something that you had on the internet. And unfortunately, because we do not have that anymore, but because the email systems, it's entrenched. It's not easy to displace or uproot legacy email systems. You can build on top of them, but you can't really actually displace the sort of thing unless you want to be the one that takes the risk and loses all the emails or loses whatever. So we have to constantly try and create ways of providing authentication or proof of I really am who I am on top of this implied trust system. It took us a long time. I mean, we do have things like the DMARC and SPIF, all that sort of stuff now. But yeah, it definitely took a long time. Trying to get everybody to agree on things when everybody has sort of started running off to do their own thing, that is hard. Okay, I need to get the speaker off because the speaker is covering. There we go. I hate it when they do this. The speaker is covering the flex that I need to get access to. Oh wow, 3 for 3. That sucks. You're just going to be difficult, aren't you? Yeah, Christian, I actually switched over to using Gmail systems. It felt very weird to do that because, like I said, basically from the start of the internet onwards, I was one of the people that was doing email filtering and virus checking and things like that with emails before other people were. It was just an upstart group of us. And then to actually one day just sort of go, you know what, this is more of a pain in the backside than I really want it to be, and I'm just going to let Google do it now, because see, Google has the power of a billion eyes. So when people start marking things as this is spam or this is whatever, they've got that power of numbers that you just simply cannot get on an individual corporation basis. Like even a big corporation like Amazon or something like that wouldn't really have quite the capabilities of what Google can pull out. Microsoft might. No. I still do run my own email servers, but by and large, for my business sort of thing, I just rely on Google now. At least the nice thing with the Google one is that it works everywhere. Like it works on my iPhone, it works on upstairs PC, works down here. I do have a dedicated email client, but for everything else that isn't my primary workstation, I can just simply, check, see if anything's in my account. I mean, you could always do that before, but Google really did make it a lot easier. Okay, well, it doesn't seem to be any real damage in here. Kind of makes me wonder. There's a little bit of something there, but I don't know. I'm starting to wonder, Jason. Maybe this just magically. Yeah. Do you want me to do a backup of their data while it's here? I don't really want to disassemble this any further. The button works fine, but the Touch ID aspect might be no good. Rob, I hope so. Need to get you rolling on that job. And don't forget, you got the other job as well. Need to get that file format sorted out. Come on, man. Sort yourself out. Get the jobs done. What, do you got a life or something? Need some pics on it. Alright. I hate doing this. I hate violating the foam rubber. Okay, we've got an itty bitty. I don't even know if that might just be. It kind of looks like liquid there. Yeah, I think we'll just leave this disconnected, get the backup, and then take it from there. And if it is pure luck, well then it's pure luck that it's working, and we'll still capitalize on that and get the information anyway. You've been working on it and making some progress? Oh, goody. More than happy to give you the money. Eek. It's stuck to me. No, I can't even. Yeah. I hate these sort of jobs. I don't mean like, Jason, I hate these jobs. I mean, I hate the sort of jobs where you can't find a definitive cause. You're struggling to get that smoking gun. When you don't have a smoking gun, it makes it hard to bill out the job. So there's tiny amounts of sort of residue there. but I'd consider it to be highly subjective. Hey, I'd sooner take these Apple computers compared to a couple of those other ones I've had recently, like that HP laptop. Pretty much any old ASUS with their stupid sandwich designs. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'll take the Macbooks. You can have the other ones. The last laptops I was comfortable with repairing on a regular basis were the Toshibas. Yeah, just their sort of low mid-range ones. Things like the C660s and things like that. They had a simple board layout. They didn't cram the machine with a ton of stuff. Sorry, I'm sort of stuttering a little bit, or not stuttering, but stalling a little bit here, because I'm concentrating quite hard on lining these up, because this button is actually, it's suspended in midair, and everything's getting a little bit magnetized here. It is the correct screwdriver for the job. It still makes it tricky at times, especially when you've got such shallow heads on these things. Oop, scratch the nose. I mean, I'm happy for Jason's customer for the fact that, well, looks like we should get their data. But I'm frustrated for the fact that I can't find out why. Well, I can't find the smoking gun. And I'm not going to plug. Let's see, what do I want again here? Sorry. I'm not going to plug the touch button back in, or that flex, until I've got the data off. Because you never know. It could be a one-off scenario where it's working for now, but as soon as you reconnect things, it's going to go downhill. Yeah, Merck and Perch, they were the Windows ones. I used XChat. XChat from probably 90... oh geez, I don't know. The first thing I used was actually an OS2 chat program. Yeah, I'm not kidding. OS2, as in the IBM OS2 Warp. I can't even remember what it was that I used, but I remember it being available. And then it took me a year or two and I found XChat on Linux. That was very nice. Okay, Christian, take care. Yeah, I think we'll be done by then. I'm just wrapping up basically at this point, just reassembling bits and pieces. This doesn't want to let go. It's the trouble with these grommets is they're stuck there, something serious. But you can't just push the speaker over the grommets, you've got to take the grommets off. Yeah, that's weird. And then feed them back into the speaker. Hey there, Prater. My alias on IRC was just Jack. That was it, just Jack. Of course there was plenty of them around. But yeah, just Jack. At the time, I think it was the Adelaide chat on Osnet or something like that. Long time ago now, very long time ago now. Like, we're talking 1996. It seems like yesterday to me though. Come on, Paul. You're almost at the finish line. And you can go cry into your source code while watching YouTube shorts. And then sharing them with Pedro. And then Pedro deciding he really should stop talking to me. Yeah, a lot of people want to see my source code for Flexboard View. I can tell you this much: it's a great big fat mess. It's if you look at Open Board View, that's, you know, a good portion, and then just layers upon layers of crap on top of that. I really need to give the whole thing a major rewrite in some areas. The whole graphics subsystem needs to be completely rewritten. It's far from optimal right now. It uses up a lot of CPU power for what it does. I will be keeping the same user interface system, the ImGUI, but the whole OpenGL pipe, it needs to be fixed up. I've sort of just like stumbled along with what was there originally, made some minor tweaks, dropped off some things that I didn't really want. By and large, it's still the original rendering pipeline, and it needs some significant help. Particularly in the way that the board gets zoomed, panned, rotated, things like that. I'm doing it very incorrectly, or I should rather say I'm doing it the hard way. I should be just letting the OpenGL system do all those sort of functions, you know, the translations, rotations, and scaling, but I'm not. So instead, yeah, at some point I'm going to have to rewrite everything. And it's difficult because you have your board coordinates and your world coordinates, and then you have your screen coordinates. And those different coordinate systems, there's a lot of bits of code that sort of rely on side effects from something else. So it's a major rip up to do what I need to do. Hey, Ed Boss. Yeah, it's a bit like Windows. Lots of bloat on top of bloat. Or Linux these days. Jeez. I think my favorite kernels in Linux are still 1.2.13 and 2.0.37 or 39. Although, you know, when they went up further to 2.042 or something like that, that was still good. But once we started to get the kernel 2.2 series and the 2.4 series, I just really stopped liking the Linux kernel as much. I guess at that point they had to mature. They're like, you know, we want to actually add some features to this thing, so we're going to have to break a lot of things. Loki, it's they are, you know, they don't shift too much, but the trouble is that they're all intermingled. Like some functions are working on the OpenGL coordinate system. Others are function. Others are working on the board coordinates. It's a big mess. It's a big mess, and I just need to clean it up. What you ultimately want to have is you only modify the camera. It's as simple as that. You ultimately only want to modify the camera and then let the OpenGL system do the rest. There is a little bit of a trick and twist in that, in the fact that I have the butterfly view mode, and in order to be able to do that I need to actually basically have two boards on there. You could do it if you had two separate viewports, but if you do that you end up with software like ZXW and whatnot where yes, you got your two viewports, but they operate somewhat independent of each other, whereas I like to have it where it's a butterflied out and you use up the whole available real estate for that. Alright, let's see if this fires up again, or whether it was just pure luck. Yeah, the butterfly board view system is a serious hack. It's a very ugly hack. It works, but it's an ugly hack. Okay, machine's running still, so that's good. We're gonna close it down. We're gonna let that charge up, Jason, and then since we can log in, I can either do a time machine backup or I can do a carbon copy cloner backup, whichever you prefer. Good thing I didn't pay any attention to your suggestion on what to do with the features. CCC? Alright, that's no problem. Yeah, but this is usually what happens with software, is that you start out... Yeah, so let's go to schematics here. Yeah, so if you go to normal mode, this is how most board views are if they're in signal mode. Yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah, no drama. But when you go to butterfly mode, most programs will split the screen, and while you can adjust the split ratio, it's still split. So therefore you've effectively got two cameras. You've got an OpenGL or a camera above the board and camera below the board, whatever, and you can shift them independently. There is one nice feature: you can zoom in on one portion here while leaving this side unaffected. I've never really, though, aside from thinking it's a useful feature, I've never felt the need for it with this. The other thing is, if you have different window, a split window view, when you do things like, you know, bringing up a great, nothing wants to do it for me, when you have something like this where you have your nets across both sides, you lose the ability to visualize that as nicely. And likewise, I can just rotate it into a vertical split, whereas you can't do that as efficiently in terms of space utilization if you have a split pane window, unless you all of a sudden then rotate that split. So it's I prefer overall to have this style of a butterfly mode, but the downside is I effectively have to run two rendering cycles and treat the board as two separate things. So maybe the software needs help like Microsoft. Yeah, I see you're looking at a 2141. Would you like me to tell the customer that there's no data available? Yeah. Imagine if you could have both views on each screen. You mean like if I've got a multi-screen setup, have that one on one screen and that one on the other? Yeah, you can sort of do that. I mean, I can already do that if I stretch this screen, like, because, like, well, I'll demonstrate it now. Okay, so now I have made the... Damn, it's hard for me to demonstrate this. Basically, I've stretched this whole thing across my two screens. I'm going to take a photo and show you. And then we do above. Yeah. Yeah, come on. So that's, god damn it. That's two screens. It's just simply you made the application window span across the two computers' screens. So it's the same effect without having to actually change the software. I have a feeling Paul's software would be a new experience if he included all the tips and improvements from chat. Oh yeah, yeah. It'd be like Homer Simpson's car. Yeah, that's how it would end up. It'd be like Homer Simpson's car. No offense to people, but one thing you learn is that hearing about wanted features from people is a useful thing. You want to hear that sort of stuff, but at the end of the day, you need to trust your gut on what you accept and turf, because even if someone's extraordinarily emphatic about how changing a feature is going to be that they've thought of, if you really don't see it yourself, then you're probably right that it's not going to be quite that sort of a monumental feature. Because the difference is that you have the full context of knowing what you're working with. And in the scenario that I am in this situation, I use the software obviously every day. And so I can sort of take what might be suggested, sort of think about it, and sort of go, you know what, it sounds like a good feature, but it's not. The other thing I found is that many a time, though, even for myself, well, I'm just repeating myself here, you can create a feature and you think this is going to be quite something, and then you find it just simply isn't. But the features that you don't really think twice about, the things that you just sort of quickly code up and sort of go, oh, you know, I just need that little thing to sort out something, turn out to be the ones that everybody really likes. The two biggest examples in Flexboard View are the net web that you can see there, and the part search. They're two things that were put in as an afterthought but ended up becoming main things that people liked. See, math tutor in school taught me that. Always trust your gut. Definitely always trust your gut. If you choose one answer and change your mind, your first choice will be the correct one. Probably yes. I'll think about that. Maybe not. Maybe. Probably is. Maybe add an auto search function that Googles information around the chip and search for it. See, the problem with those sort of features is when the situation is, when the data is right, it can work. But 99% of the time, the data is flawed, and so it doesn't work. People often query to me, why don't I just scrape the data out of the PDFs and populate all the parts with their values? And I actually have done that with some boards, but you can't really actually automate it. Like here, so we've got the data has been integrated into the board. But it's one of those things where you can automate it to a certain point, but then to get the rest of it, if you try and automate it, you end up having so many errors with the data that it takes you longer to fix the errors. And it's not a case of the algorithm needs to be improved. It's a case of it's just not, the information isn't there to be able to make the correct choice without having a human involved. It's fundamentally what it comes down to. There's a lot of things that we do as humans that are, we all know this, that are extremely difficult to do for computers. And if the PDFs were structured better, then yes, we could do that. But the PDFs are not structured well enough, and that's the problem. The PDFs are such an unknown that we can't rely on them. Where's the kittens? How you say? The kittens are upstairs asleep, and if I dare disturb them, I'll have my head chopped off. Um, I mean, a good example of why the PDFs can be such a pain in the backside is just the fact that the people who generate the schematics don't even follow standards themselves. Like, okay, so we've got a resistance here, it's below the part number, it's above the symbol for the resistor, but there's no units indicator, so it's just 5.11, okay? We know that means 5.11 ohms, but algorithmically, you could probably go, okay, because it's closest to the part and the symbol, speaking of which, the symbol itself is just a generic set of lines, so we would have to deduce what that there is a symbol there to start with. So you could probably algorithmically work that one out. But then when you do that, you start getting, I'm trying to find some of them that are really difficult to differentiate. Usually the pull-ups and oh, here we go. That's another sort of awkward situation, but it's not the worst. And then of course you're going to have faults in the schematic like this. Where are they? Naturally I can't find the ones I'm talking about. But needless to say, there are scenarios where the algorithm breaks down and it creates a lot of trouble. Just select and copy a bit of text on several lines, paste it into text editor. Well, Jim, what I actually currently do, let's do it just to demonstrate to people how this is currently done. Let's see, we'll take the 1700 board. We've got the schematic there. Can I do the split here without? No, it breaks everything. We're actually going to capture data off this PDF once my mouse agrees to do what I want it to do. Okay. So we go see board, capture PDF data, and we want value. We'll take resistances. So we'll take the resistances. It must, yeah. So start. Okay, so it's gonna go along. Might just maximize this so you can see. Okay, so it's gonna go through and it's looking for all the resistors or R prefix parts that are on the board, and it then searches in the PDF for that. And it says, okay, I found this R0510. Now you need to click on whatever the value is. So click on that, and you can see it's populated it up there. And then it goes to the next one. So this one's a 30, 20, 20, 24.9, 1K, 499. So this is the manual process. And right now, some of you are going to be thinking, see, you should be able to algorithmically sort that out. They're all below the resistance value, the part number. And for these scenarios, yes, that will work, but it's going to break down soon. Okay, this first 0 ohm ones are the worst. There's going to be ambiguities. Okay, and now all of a sudden we've got this stuff over here, and it's changed it again. Change over there, change there. This is how I populate the data that's in OpenBoard data website. Okay, here's a fun one. Where's the resistance value for this? It's over here. That's it there, 33. But it's certainly, that just broke the algorithm again. And for every time that you come up with a corner case fix, there's going to be another corner case, and so on and so forth. And I guess ultimately it comes down to, no matter how good you make the algorithm, you're still going to need a human to come through and sort it out at some point. And the problem is that the algorithm will not know when it's made a mistake. Because more than likely what it will do is it will grab a value that it thinks fits the other algorithms, that the cases that you've prepared, and it won't know that it actually picked the wrong one. Anyway, we'll stop that for now. So we'll stop, close. What do we? So we've got a few values in there. We'll upload them into the database. 122 entries. Okay. So let's reload this board just to check. So let's see. R0510, I think it was. Somewhere down there, eh? There we go. Is that it? No. Okay, there you go. You can see the values are now being populated into the parts. So that's how they get populated. It's a bit of a manual process, but it's a quick manual process that's helped as far as I can take it without bringing in unnecessary chances of bad data being picked up. It's like asking ChatGPT to what component to repair and how. That's a good example, actually. Yeah, that's a really good example. Like, yeah. Let's see, Miles. This is why we stop using parsing tech. Cause more problems and waste more time than it saves. It's fundamentally it too. Yeah. Oh, Kojin had a question for me. Okay, let me go back. Oh, Kojin. Right. I've been using it for the last 2 years. Okay. Kojin, what's your question? We used to have our CRM software scan incoming tickets and pre-fill fields for us and generate notes and draft email. So many instances of things breaking. Yeah, that's unfortunately what it comes down to, is you sort of got to know where the threshold is for cutting off of the how good that data is, and also the repercussions if that data is wrong. That will tend to dictate where you put that threshold. For some situations, it's not going to matter if the data is wrong. You can live with it, say text to speech or something like that. But for technical scenarios or for job sheets and things like that, then yeah, the repercussions are going to be a bit more difficult to deal with if you get things too wrong. So yeah, unfortunately, you have the hope for it to work out. The reality tends to be a bit of a pain. Everybody wants to know where the kittens are. There are kitten videos up at the moment. Let's see, YouTube. I did upload one that I put in, what do you call it, unlisted. Copy link location. There you go, kittens. That's okay, we'll wait for Kodrin. Can't you use the AI? Did bad things we are not That's actually, could be an interesting way out of things. Text-to-speech P, yeah. I mean, hell, humans can't even get my name right, calling me Daniel all the time. Oh my god, that hurts me so much. Sometimes so frustrating to search for schematics on Badcaps or other forums. I do agree, that is a bit of a pain. By the way, we're up to 22% charge on that laptop, so that's good. It is frustrating to search for bad schematics and board views. Unfortunately, legally, I am limited. If I was in another country, it would probably be easier for me to just pool a great resource of boards and schematics at no cost. But alas, I am in Australia, which means Apple can just simply reach through the screen and choke me to death and ruin my business if I distribute any sort of board views or schematics like that. There's a fly on my hand. I've got to... bastard. F off. Yeah, it's a legal problem that I can't distribute board views and schematics. I would if I could. Sometimes I will help people out in locating them, but if I distribute them, then Apple will shut me down. I will get fined a very considerable amount of money. It's a little bit different to, say, the Lewis Rossman situation, where they were telling him, we don't want you putting schematics and board on YouTube, because he wasn't actually distributing them as such. He was like distributing the image, which sort of can be considered like, if I took a high quality video of the board, it's somewhat of the same thing. But actually packaging the board views and schematics in with FlexBoard View, I just can't do it, not without losing business. Easier if I move to China. I am learning my Mandarin, so maybe. Everyone calls you Jason and not Masayuki. I don't even say that properly. I guess the question is, if you go to Japan, do they call you by the right name? So, Kodran asked a board file question. Is that a different question again, Kodran, or is the same what you were talking about just then? Definitely, if you can, support Badcap's forum as much as you can, because Badcaps at least doesn't require you to pay any money to have tokens or anything like that. It's just a board that you just sign up to, and you can immediately get access to every file that's there. That's the thing I hate about things like Vinifix, BIOS, whatever. All those other sites require you to fork out money for stuff that other people are sharing. And so it's a bit of a... Yeah, and it wouldn't be so bad if they actually made it easier to pay for things, in the sense of like, okay, oh, hey sweetie.
Milo's asking to go out.
Sorry?
Milo,
He's asking to go out.
is he allowed or not?
You can let him out and I'll retrieve him later. Yeah, if those sites, say, let you pay using, say, PayPal on a subscription, $5 a month, I would consider it. But a lot of them, they want your credit card details directly, and then how much you pay affects how much you can download. It's all a very complicated tier system, and it's directly to your credit card. And I just don't like that. PayPal, I don't mind, because PayPal, if something goes wrong, I can squawk. And when I squawk, PayPal usually decides in my favor, assuming I'm not being a complete jerk. Whereas when it comes to the banks, you squawk. Sometimes you get it back, most times you don't. I don't really trust them as much. I know some people have bad experiences with PayPal, and PayPal can be real difficult people, because you can't even get a hold of them half the time. But when it comes to that sort of scenario, you usually have a better chance with PayPal. Yeah, I do not like giving sites my credit card, so at least with PayPal, it may come off your PayPal, your credit card, but you can always dispute it in writing to PayPal. That's the upside. With the bank, most of the time you got to call the bank, and it's a difficult process, particularly if someone in my condition of hearing. But with PayPal, I just put in a claim and say, I dispute this transaction, I want my money back, or whatever, and it most of the time works in your favor. So yeah, for that, giving you that extra layer of insulation, it's really handy. And because I am fairly careful with my credit card usage, and it's not unusual for every year for me to have one or two bad transactions on my credit cards, and I have no idea where they picked it up from, and I have to cancel the card and get it reissued. So for the more I can do on PayPal, the less likely I have to cancel and reissue my credit card, which is a pain if it happens to be one of my business ones. So yeah. Alright, I think it's time for me to kick off. It's midnight. So hopefully I got everybody, well, hopefully I got the right guys' questions. And looks like Kudrin's happy with the answer, so that's good then. There. If it didn't have legal repercussions for me, I would be more than happy out of my own pocket to have a large database of files that everybody could just download from like, Linode or whatever. Pardon me, without all the adverts. And that's the other thing. Most of these sites that you go to, they are riddled with so many adverts and misleading click here, click there sort of things. You don't know what you're downloading most of the time. So yeah, the trust just isn't there. It feels very scammy, which is why at the end Bad Caps is where I go to. The file may not be there, but chances are if you ask for it, someone else will have it, and they will bring it forward to you on Bad Caps. So that's why I like to stick with it. Anyway, oh, you're trying to send me a super sticker? That's okay. Look, don't worry about that. If you do want to contribute anything, PayPal is actually, funnily enough, the easiest way. But don't feel compelled to. You've already bought my software, so I'm more than happy with that. Yeah, Pedro's the scammer for sure. Yeah, most grey sites have a lot of junk. Often it's not even the right file. So yeah, okay. I'm out of here. You all take care, and might see you tomorrow because we've got another 5 or 6 machines to get done this weekend. So catch up for you later. See you next time.